So I'm terrible at interneting, but something very exciting happened over the last week that I didn't document at all because I suck. But there's something behind me that is so beautiful as I lower my hand, and I could not be more excited. Let me give you a better look. This right here is a prime single stack, and I replaced my Rogue Slinger with this bad boy right here. I've been interested in it ever since Brandon Campbell got one of my really good friends. Prime should really be paying this guy because he didn't get anything from this. I found this on Marketplace for a great deal, but there's no way I would have purchased it without his influence. This thing is a beast. So Rich Homie Greg, go ahead and play the clip of what it looked like before. If you have a small home gym, you understand my struggle. You are always fighting for space. So take a look behind me. This gym is never going to look the same. I'm a little sad about it, to be honest, but we have to make room for something that's a little bit more functional. We have the Rogue RM6 that I built out to include the Slinger. We have got the dumbbells, the Echo Bike, some miscellaneous items, but this is about all that I have in my 12 by 14 inch garage. And you can see the difference here. It's no longer going to be attached to the rack. Rather, I've got this standalone unit, and that's not the only benefit. Really, my problem with the Slinger, well, let's talk about it. Now, my point of view is from someone that absolutely loves Rogue. Born and raised in Ohio, huge proponent of American manufacturing, kind of a Rogue fanboy, to be honest. So I had very high expectations for the Slinger, even with the weight stack, but I just feel like it's that one product they never got right. And when I say one product, I really do just mean the one product. I've had an RM4 before. This is right now set up as an RM4. I'm gonna convert it back to an RM6. We'll talk about that in a future video. My Rogue Ohio Power Bar, like everything about Rogue, I love. But that Slinger, man, it just wasn't right. Not that it wasn't right, it did its job. It was fine, but it's not what I expected from a company like Rogue. And at that time when that came out, there weren't all these different single stack options. There weren't racks with cables integrated into them. So they were kind of the front runners in developing this technology or this methodology of combining the cable systems with the rack, which I think is great for home gyms. Now, with all that being said, I wouldn't have made the change because it was good enough for my training, and I don't really feel like it's going to prohibit you from getting a good workout, making good progress. It's just for people like myself who are hobbyists. It's one of those things that's always in the back of your head. So the real reason I made the change to this is because of the functionality within a single stack that allows you to not only have your lat pull down up here, but you can use this cable functionality at any point from top to bottom. So this opens up so many different possibilities in your training. And of course, Prime makes incredible pieces. I personally wanted to wait for Rogue's version of the single stack because the Slinger versus this is not a fair comparison. The Slinger is just the lat pull down and the low row. As you can see, you got those two movements. They're coming out with their equivalent of the single stack, which I think is gonna be awesome. I think they're gonna nail it. But one, I didn't wanna wait. Two, I know nothing is gonna come up used for quite a while. So when I found this come up on Marketplace in my town, I just kind of took it as a sign that it was meant to be. So my good friend Joey from Garage Gym Junkies came over, helped me disassemble that custom wing I had on my Rogue rack, and luckily this was very easy to set up. They delivered it, everything, all the cables were run, we just had to put the weight stack on there. I am gonna get some of this green off of this machine. Again, kind of just copying my buddy Brandon, but I just can tell already this is going to be a pivotal piece to my training. Now, I'm back to an RM4. I have a little bit of stability issues with this thing. Nothing that's too bad, it would be okay. But because I have the parts already, I'm gonna convert this back to an RM6. I will take you guys through that journey for sure. We're going to shorten the distance, pull it off the wall a little bit more. It's this ongoing thing when you have a home gym. And I am not the person that wants to buy a bunch of equipment and move things around because I just like to train. I hate that putting this all together kind of took me out of training for a few days because of the time commitment, and you can't see behind me. My gym's a mess as I'm trying to sell the slinger and the weight stack. But once I get through this, I'm gonna change up some things about the rack. I think we'll be in a good spot till I make the move where I'm gonna have a lot more space in my gym, and we'll be good for at least 18 months. So I don't know if you can see too well back here. This is where the slinger and the weight stack and the low row, all of that is. I'm also going to be selling my Matador. I love the dip station, but there are better options now, especially through Rogue, where they have the one that can live on the rack that collapses down. And again, as time goes along, better and better options become available. I'm not really in any rush there, especially, like I said, I'm moving into a bigger and better space in a few years. So I am perfectly fine just waiting and getting the things that I absolutely love. So of course, I will eventually give you guys a full review, but just so you can kind of see some of the high level functionality, I'll start with a lat pull down. Again, it's got a dedicated 1-to-1 ratio for this, and from what I've experienced, this thing is so smooth. And what I love is I can get a full contraction, full range of motion, and it is just one of the best feeling lat pull downs that I've used in a very long time. So lat pull down, awesome. We're gonna just pop this guy off real quick. And if you guys can tell, actually I'm gonna move you around, very well thought after design. All you gotta do is place the seat in one of these attachments here. So I'm not sure what distance is gonna be good for this. Let's play around, but all I'm gonna have to do here is pull this guy to the right position, put this guy right here, take a seat. Oh yeah, that is pretty perfect. The one thing I didn't love about the Rogue is that it wasn't the best position sitting on the floor, wasn't able to get the best contraction, whereas this, I'm not limited at all. Now, here is what I was not able to do on the Rogue Slinger. So say I want to bring something like this down. Oh yeah, finally. Oh yeah, great way to hit smaller muscle groups like the shoulders. And you can see kind of what I'm saying here. If I wanted to go maybe to this position for whatever, you know, tricep extensions, you name it. This thing is so versatile. So awesome. So I am going to play around with my new toy a little bit. I feel like a kid on Christmas, and I promise I will come back with a full review once I've had the chance to really dive deeper into it. And again, stay tuned for what's gonna happen with that Rogue rack. There's gonna be some cosmetic upgrades as well as some functionality upgrades, and hopefully you guys will be able to get some ideas from that as well. It's a forever changing, evolving process when you're building a home gym, as I know a lot of you understand.